Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, where plant friends do what plant friends do. My name is Darylyn, and this is Pippa, and this is Plant Friend Down the Street. God damn it. All right, hopefully we can make this quick and get this over with because this is just gonna suck for me. All right, if you know me in person, you know two things about me. First, I'm a bit of an overachiever. And second, I hate to be wrong. But I think that this is important as someone who pretends to appear on the internet on a public platform and offer plant advice. People who are doing that really need to make an effort to hold themselves accountable, because sometimes I may show you something and then it may not actually end up working. And even people who have beautiful plants and great collections are not infallible. And we all have our plant fails. So today, what I have for you is my spring 2021 plant fails. Now, unlike plant haul, where, I plan to continue to bring plants into my life, I am not planning on having constant plant fails, so these plant fail videos may not be a regular series on this channel, but I do want to commit to showing them to you as I have them, because I do think we need to normalize that nothing is ever perfect, no one's infallible, and maybe discuss some of the things that I did that led up to these failures. So I don't know, maybe you guys can learn from my mistakes and avoid them. God, this is just really uncomfortable. So I'm going to show you my fails. Spoiler alert, they're mostly anthurium. It doesn't necessarily mean that anthurium will let you down more often. It's just I have a lot of anthurium, and I think most of them are recent acquisitions. So, when plants are acclimating and when you import them, you change the medium, you make changes, sometimes you're gonna have acclimation damage. Look at this. Pippa's already bored. Christ. All right, well, let's just get into this and get this over with, because like I said, this is just like hugely uncomfortable for me. So I guess I'm just going to be exposing myself. No, not like that. All right, let's just get into this, because like I said, this is just really super uncomfortable for me in general. So the first plant fail that I have for you today is this philodendron melanochrysum. Now, you guys may have seen my big mama mother plant melanochrysum chilling in the background of some past videos. She went through the same issue, but she's a little bit more mature of a plant, so she's fine. She recovered really well on her own. This is a collection of cuttings that I actually took from her last summer that were doing amazing, just growing like crazy until we got thrips, y'all. I guess I'll just show you kind of the damage. It did kill off its growth point, as you can see, and this leaf here is pretty damaged. That's definitely not what they're supposed to look like. It never really fully hardened off. It never even really fully unfurled. Yeah, and then there's more than one cutting in this pot. So you see here, this leaf did sustain some damage. No, that is not variegation. It's absolutely not variegation. It is damage. I've also noticed that this plant now has a few like bald nodes in the middle here where a leaf came out, or a leaf would have come out, but it was aborted by the plant because of the thrips. So this is just such a shame, and I really have no one to blame but myself. It really is down to my own hubris and stupidity, not being honest with myself that the efforts I was taking at the time to prevent pests were just not adequate. So first plant fail of spring 2021 is this melanochrysum. It will recover. It has resumed growing on 2 of the cuttings, and I think that those ones are going to bounce back really quick. The one that did kill its growth point off is obviously going to be a bit longer of a wait, but I mean, she'll bounce back. Such a shame, because it was really beautiful and it was really starting to take off. But lesson learned, and my pest prevention routine is a lot more robust now. So yeah, it's a pretty big bummer. Fuck. Ugh. All right, moving on to my next failure. Okay, so This plant here, you may be looking at it and go, Darylyn, what are you talking about? That's not a plant fail. That looks like a successful propagation of literally anything. And I'm gonna have to come clean with you and say that this is a plant fail because yes, this is a successful propagation, but this is all that I was able to salvage from 3 of these plants. This is a newly propagated batch of Calumnia gloriosa, which if you are fans of Kaylee Ellen, and on this channel, we stand a true queen, you will know that the Calumnia gloriosa has kind of been given the affectionate nickname in the plant community of the Kaylee Ellen Jenna Marbles plant. Yeah, anyway, she talked about how the plant imported absolutely terribly for her. Yeah, I can concur and provide evidence to support that. Horribly. And I stupidly put it in water to acclimate, thinking that that would perk it up, and then it wasn't doing super great. So I took a bunch of cuttings and put those in the water. No, if you import a Calumnia gloriosa, and you probably won't be able to because I've been trying to get more and haven't been able to find it anywhere, including South American growers. So it truly is, I would say, a rare plant. It's commercially rare. It's difficult to find. It especially sucks that I fucked it up and that this is all that's left. But if you are able to get your hands on one of these and it's not an established plant locally, domestically, that's already established and you can just add to your collection and not worry about it, if you are going to be importing it, it's not easy. The roots are going to be trashed. Your absolute best bet is to just take cuttings of the vines and lay them into sphagnum moss, like you can see I've done here. And that is the easiest way to do it, I think. This is just so sad. It's especially sad because I didn't even buy this plant for myself. I bought it for friends of mine, and we were supposed to do a trade. And this is everything I have left, and it was 2 different people. So, like, I don't know how I'm gonna be expected to split that between 2 people. I guess I could just let it grow out more and then continue to propagate the new growth. And it's like the propagations of the propagations. So yeah, we'll be able to do our trade in 5 years, but that is the second plant fail that I'm currently still stewing over, and it's the Calumnia gloriosa. My third plant fail that I want to talk to you guys about today is this very, very sad Philodendron verrucosum. I imported this plant, I think I probably got it in January. Philodendron verrucosum is notoriously difficult to acclimate. The roots are incredibly fine, and so they really do take a substantial hit when they are cleaned in the phytosanitary process. Even domestically with healthy roots, the foliage on verrucosum are notorious for suffering in shipping. So this is actually all that's left of the original plant. The root ball did die. I did cut it at every node and propagate, I think, 3 cuttings in water, and that worked really, really well. But then I got the bright idea to put it into leca, and it speaks for itself. Clearly, like, this is not a plant that's like super happy. So finally it did something when I put it in my grow tent, and I was super happy. And then I proceeded to break the top of the cataphyll off. The cataphyll that I worked so hard for. You know, this plant killed off its growth point multiple times when it was acclimating and then when it was propagating. And then I don't think that I would ever put a verrucosum in leca again. I just really don't think that was the right call. Apparently they like to dry out and they don't like to stay super moist, but it has given me this really cute little baby leaf. They also don't like super high light. They like indirect light, like legit indirect light. Like even if it's not from the sun, even if it's a grow light, they like it to be indirect. So, I mean, I think that it's still fine. It's actually grown since I originally knocked the tip off, but it's just so frustrating. Like I worked really hard to salvage this plant, and like clearly we've had like a journey together, and then I freaking knock the top off. It's just like, God, why? Why did I do that? God. So fail number 3 is this very sad philodendron varicosum. All right, we're getting into the anthurium now. So I guess we will go with this one first, and it will be very apparent why this plant is on my list of plant fails. This is another one that is just 100% my fault. This is an Anthurium forgetii white stripes. And as you can see, this new leaf that it put out is absolutely gorgeous. Like even with the damage on it, it's absolutely gorgeous. You can tell it would have been an absolutely incredible leaf if I hadn't fucked it up. So I think that makes this one all the more tragic because like why? I'll tell you why. Whoever's out there that needs to hear this, do not help new leaves unfurl. 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna rip the leaf. And I know every plant parent out there has had an experience where the leaf was struggling to come out, and if they hadn't intervened and like pulled the sheath off of it and unstuck it, the leaf probably would have ripped. But I did that successfully a couple of times and then got overconfident. And the other 9 times out of 10, I would say, you end up more with a result like this, where you rip the leaf. Maybe on a plant like a philodendron or a monstera where the leaves come out closer to their full size, it isn't as big of a tragedy because they're not going to continue to grow larger and greatly amplify the damage. But if you nick an anthurium leaf when it's coming out, I mean, this can be the result. Going forward, what I've done is rather than try to help my anthurium leaves as they're coming out and as they're unfurling, when I see an anthurium leaf that I'm tempted to touch or help in any way, I put that plant in the grow tent and I let the 95% humidity in there take care of it for me. And it's also good because then I can't see it. So you can't see doesn't bother you. So this is a terrible casualty, but I've learned from this and I don't anticipate that this is gonna happen to me too many more times. And next time, if it does happen, hopefully it won't be my fault because this is embarrassing and it sucks. So this is my Anthurium villanorum or villanorum or villeneorum. Fun fact, Latin is a dead language and therefore I've been told there's no such thing as a correct or incorrect pronunciation. So all the people out there who are like, oh, I can't pronounce things, and like, don't feel bad about it. Like, there really isn't a wrong way to pronounce it. Unless it's a philodendron UPI. There's a right way to pronounce UPI. All right, anyway. So this is my philodendron villanorum. Oh my God, you guys, no. So this is my Anthurium villanorum, and as you can see, it's pretty cute. And I know what you're probably thinking. Darylyn, that plant looks completely fine. Like, what are you talking about? Like, where is the fail here? I rotted the cataphyll. I put this plant into pon, and at first it was really doing well. And then I noticed that it was putting out some aerial roots, and I really wanted them to root into the pon. So I scooted all the pon up to cover them. And I guess I must have just top watered it a little bit too enthusiastically, or maybe the pond just stayed too wet. I'm not really sure, but the cataphyll rotted off. So anyone out there who is moving your Anthurium into pon, I would highly recommend, at least at first, that you don't pile the pon all the way up to the, like right at the base of the cataphyll, because you might risk rotting the cataphyll on your Anthurium. I still love pon. I still highly recommend it, but there is a little bit of a learning curve with it. So just make sure that you're being a little careful and not filling it up too much, or you could potentially see an issue like this as well. Thank God, you guys, we're at our last one. And honestly, you guys, I think I've like saved the best for last or the worst for last, because this is just, I don't know what to say. I will say in my defense that this was genuinely an accident. And even afterwards, I really didn't think it would go this badly. I figured it would just kind of, okay, I'm just gonna show you and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Okay, so Deep breath. I know what you're thinking. Darylyn, why do you have a single strand of clover in a lechuza pot? And I will tell you. The answer is, it is not. It is the absolute saddest Anthurium clarinervium that ever did grace this green earth. This is the first Anthurium that I ever got, you guys, and it shows. So you may be thinking, Darylyn, like, it's gonna grow. You say you have a lot of Anthurium, like, you don't know that the leaves come out teeny tiny and then that they go up to size. And yeah, you know, you're correct about that. Generally, that is what happens. But this has been like this for a couple of months now. And I cannot believe this is just what even is going on here. This plant, like I said, was the first Anthurium that I ever got. And a lot of people say that Anthurium clarinervium is just really easy, really chill, doesn't give them any trouble. It's a great one for beginners. It's a great first Anthurium. Why do you guys think that this was my first Anthurium? I've honestly had like a lot of issues with it. This is currently what we're dealing with. It's just so sad. What happened here is, if you can see that the bottom is missing, like it's all shriveled up down there. At least this was genuinely an accident, but when I was cleaning my shelf that this plant lives on, I was checking to see if the moss on top needed to be misted, and I just bumped the tip of the new leaf that was coming out and knocked it off. And I was so devastated because this plant, I've had it for a really long time, and it's just been trouble and issues and disappointment and fungal spots the whole time. So when it finally was giving me the first new leaf in a year, I got really excited. And then it just got ruined, and I'm just really sad. So once again, just be extremely careful around your newly emerging Anthurium leaves, because if you mess them up when they're first coming out, I mean, you can really mess them up. Like that forgetti eye leaf looks bad, but at least it's like, oh, that's a beautiful leaf that just, what a shame it got ripped. Like this is just like, what even is this? This looks completely pathetic. It's just this tiny little, in this giant pot. And I promise you, like the root ball, like it's the right size. I don't even know what to tell you about this, you guys. Like it's just a failure. I guess the moral of the story is, you know, be really careful with your new Anthurium leaves. And preventative pest prevention, be careful with your new Anthurium leaves. Don't try to propagate Calemnia gloriosa in water. Don't put your Varicosum in leca. Be careful around your new Varicosum caterpillars too, because I broke that one. It's just a lot of fails today, so... Okay, well, that was painful, and I'm glad it's over. So next time, I promise we're gonna do something a lot more fun. But hopefully this was a little bit informative for you, or you could just laugh at me. That's fine too. I mean, I kind of deserve it. So I think I'm gonna leave it there for today, but if you found any of this informative or funny, or when you find this little girl very cute, feel free to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at PlantFriendDownTheStreet. Pippa has her own Instagram account as well. It is at Pippa the Velvet Hippo. So I guess that is it for my current plant fails that are just killing my vibe. If any of you guys have funny or cringy or horrible plant fails that you think other people should know about, or you just need to get it off your chest, feel free to tell me all about the story in the comments below. Like this video if you found any of this informative or funny or a train wreck you can't look away from. I hope you guys have a good one, and I hope to hang out again real soon. Bye!